Hey everybody, Melissa here from a Canine Affinity, and today we are talking about bringing home your new puppy. Congratulations, you have a new puppy. So we're going to be discussing socialization today because that, in my opinion, and I think science's opinion, is the most important part of bringing home a new puppy. So what is a puppy? Defined by age, in my opinion, is a dog that is between the ages of about 6 weeks and about 16 weeks of age. So you can have an older puppy, but socialization wise, a puppy is going to be about 6 weeks to about 16 weeks of age because of their socialization period, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. So you brought home your new puppy, you're excited, you're exhausted, you're scared, you don't know what to do. What do we do first? So the things that I think we need to be working on first are going to be potty training, socialization, and bonding, really. And socialization and bonding are going to go together. I'm going to be including my potty training guide in this post, so I'm not going to talk a ton about potty training, but basically what I want to say about that is that hopefully in your home you have set up a safe space for your dog where they can be when they are not supervised. So some sort of a playpen area, a room that they can be in, maybe a kitchen that's blocked off, a bathroom that's blocked off, or again, some sort of a playpen area where they have food and toys and water. And if you're going to be leaving them alone when you go to work or for any extended period of time, a potty pad or a grass patch so that they can have, so they can go to the bathroom when you're not with them. Puppies cannot hold their bladder for more than, a half an hour to an hour at a time when they're very young. Once they get up, maybe to about 3 months, maybe an hour or two, when they're, during the day. At night, we can work on crate training, and then maybe they can make it halfway through the night, but you need to make sure that you can get them out and let them out in the middle of the night so they're not having accidents in that crate. Management is going to be key to potty training. So if you're not supervising your puppy, they should be in that playpen area where they can where they can go to the bathroom safely on that potty pad, and they shouldn't be out free roaming in your house so they can have an accident in a corner somewhere where you don't see it. Taking them out all the time, every half hour or so, anytime after they eat, after they drink, after they play, after they wake up from a nap, you want to get them outside as quickly as possible. And then you're going to reinforce them going outside to the bathroom, not with praise, because young puppies don't really care that they're a good puppy. They don't care that they're a good boy or a good girl. They don't know what that means yet. So giving them a nice little food treat when they go to the bathroom will help them understand that it's a good thing and they want to repeat that behavior. So anytime that we pair a behavior with something good, our dogs are going to want to continue that behavior. They're going to want to repeat that behavior. And that's part of positive reinforcement training, is anytime that our dog performs a behavior that we like, we're going to follow it up with something they want, which is usually going to be food. And this is going to make them want to repeat that behavior in the future. So if you want your puppy going outside to go to the bathroom, every time you take them outside to go to the bathroom and they're successful, give them a food treat. And this is going to help them understand, oh wait, I like going outside to go to the bathroom because I get a food treat. When I go inside on my potty pad, I don't get a food treat. You don't have to treat them for their potty pad if you want them to go outside and go to the bathroom, because then they're going to want to do both and it can get confusing. If they have an accident in the house, it is just that. It's an accident. They don't know any better. They can't hold their bladder, number one, if they're very, very young. Number two, they just haven't learned the pattern yet. So no scolding, no rubbing their nose in it. Please, that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. No yelling. Just try to clean it up and get them outside as quickly as possible. So potty training, number one thing we're working on right away. And then socialization. So what is socialization? So in the broad sense of the term, it really refers to a process that is occurring early in your puppy's development. And this is going to expose them to the world around them and help them learn about everything that we want them to be comfortable with in their lives. So basically, this is taking place in this sensitive time between the ages of about, again, 6 weeks and about 14 to 16 weeks of age. And the reason why this is a sensitive socialization period is because in this age range, our dogs are more receptive to new experiences. Their brains are in a place where they are more open to new experiences. Their I'm sorry, their social attraction is stronger. So they start to, at about 6 weeks, 4 to 6 weeks of age is when they become receptive to human social bonding, when they want to start bonding with humans, and when they become more attentive, socially attractive to other dogs outside of their family circle. So when they want to start meeting new dogs and they want to start bonding with new people. And so it's really, really important to start getting them out into the world. They also have a tendency to want to go towards things that they see that are new rather than run away from them. Now, this isn't to say that everything that they see is going to be exciting and they're going to want to run towards everything that they see. However, it is much easier to expose them to new things during this time frame than it's going to be at any other point in their life. So it's important to start exposing them to new things during this time frame. Also, what's happening is that the way that their brain is developing, when you expose them to something new, it is creating permanent memories in their brain. So their brain is actually growing with all of these new experiences, and these memories are going to become permanent. So if we don't expose our puppies to new things during this time frame, and then after 16 weeks of age, they see something that they didn't originally see, they're going to have a hard time understanding it and accepting it. So if we keep our puppies inside and don't expose them to anything, or they have limited exposure to things before or after the age of 16 weeks, they're going to have a hard time accepting novelty. And this is where fear really becomes prominent in adult dogs and adolescent dogs. So it's so critical to socialize your puppies before the age of about 14 to 16 weeks of age. If you do not, then we run into issues with fear, reactivity, inability to accept novelty, inability to accept new dogs, inability to accept new people, inability to accept new places, because their brains just don't know how to do it. Their brains literally have not had enough exposure to new things in their life that they cannot process what is going on. And that is why socialization is so crucial. So just because you have another dog in your house that your dog plays with does not mean that your dog knows how to accept new dogs. Just because you have other people in your house that your dog plays with does not mean that that's socialization to people. Your dog needs to be able to be exposed to lots of new people, new puppies of their age, other adult puppies, other animals, sounds, lots of things outside of your home. That is the socialization process, is helping your dog learn to process all of the things that go on in the world, okay? That's why getting them outside of the house is important. Now, this may conflict with what a medical professional has told you. You may go to the vet, get your vaccinations, and your vet may say, you need to keep your puppy inside until they're fully vaccinated. Now, your vet has your dog's medical interest in mind. They know that there is small risk for picking up things like parvo, distemper, other icky things that are out there in the world. Now, your medical professional oftentimes, and not always, but oftentimes is not educated in the behavioral aspect of socialization. So they do not know the great risks of not socializing your puppy, which I've stated is that if they do not get out into the world before the age of 14 to 16 weeks, they may grow up to develop fear, aggression, and many other behavioral issues. So there are safe ways to socialize your puppies before they're fully vaccinated, and I highly encourage you to do that. So how do we socialize our puppies before they're fully vaccinated? Well, first and foremost, you want to socialize them to things in and around your home. Things that make noises, things that they need to get used to on an everyday basis, washing machine noises, dishwasher noises, the car, taking them in the car, and being left alone. So a lot of people will bring their puppies home and spend several days with them right off the bat, and that's wonderful. I love that you want to do that, but you need your puppy to learn that being left alone is a normal part of their life. So I'm not saying bring them home and then leave them alone for several hours the first day, but really short little departures, putting them in their fun little playpen area and going out to get the mail, or going and taking a shower, or just running outside for a couple of minutes so that your puppy learns that they're going to be alone. We want to pair this with really positive things. So get yourself some food dispensing toys, some puzzle toys, a Kong, some bully sticks, some things to chew on. And every time you plan on leaving your puppy, even for just a minute or two, give them something really, 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 really wonderful, and then leave them alone for a minute or two so they can pair that experience with something really good. Now, if your puppy seems like they're very stressed out about being left alone, reach out to me. I am a certified separation anxiety trainer, and I can help you suss that out. Or reach out to a professional in your area and let them know that you're not sure if your puppy's okay being left alone. There are going to be some transitional periods where your puppy does not like being left alone. You have to remember that before they came to you, they were with their litter mates, they were with their mom, they were with other dogs, and you bring them into your home, and now they're in a brand new place, and they're scared, and they're worried, and they don't want to be left alone. So they might do a little bit of crying and whining, and some of that is going to be okay, but we also want our puppies to know that we're going to be there for them if they're feeling scared, and we're not just going to let them cry it out. Letting them cry it out is usually not an appropriate form of training and behavior modification. We want to let our puppies know that we hear them and we understand them, and we're going to be there for them if they're feeling stressed out. So practicing short little bits of departures, leaving them alone for 5 minutes, 10 minutes at a time, and then slowly expanding that over time. That is a really, really important part of teaching our dogs about the world that they're going to live in. Other bits of safe socialization, sitting outside your front door and watching the world go by with a little bag of yummy treats. So the reason that we use food so much in positive reinforcement-based training is because, number one, dogs love it, okay? We want to make sure that we're always pairing experiences with something really, really good. So anytime that our dog sees something that they might find overwhelming, we're going to say, hey, look at that. That's a garbage truck. It makes a loud noise. It's beeping. Look at that. I'm going to pop a little treat in your mouth, okay? I'm going to pop a little treat in your mouth and let you know that a garbage truck also equals a yummy little piece of liver treat, or a yummy little piece of cheese, or a yummy little piece of chicken, so that you can pair the two together. So this is conditioning our dogs to know that garbage truck equals chicken, FedEx truck equals cheese, mailman equals little liver treat, so that they know that, oh my goodness, I really want the garbage truck to come, because every time the garbage truck comes, I get something really, really good, rather than every time the garbage truck comes, it scares the bejesus out of me, and I run away and I bark at it, and then we have a situation where the garbage truck becomes something scary. So you can sit out on your front yard and wait for the mail to come and ask the mailman to give your dog a little piece of cheese, or ask the FedEx delivery person to give your dog a little treat, so that you don't have a dog that likes to bark at all the delivery people, because they just equal something scary. And then next, another really good safe way to start socializing your puppy to people and other puppies is going to be a well-run positive reinforcement-based training class or puppy social experience. So you're going to be looking for, again, force-free, positive reinforcement base. So this is going to be no punishment, no aversives, no training collars like prong collars, choke chains, shock collars at all. If you join a class and it turns out that they're using these, I would highly, highly recommend that you pull yourself out of that class immediately. Science has told us over and over and over again that the use of punishment in dog training is unnecessary and cruel, and we do not need to be using it. You need to be your dog's advocate, and the people who are using these types of training methods are not educated in current science-based training, and it does not need to be used, okay? You need to look out for your puppy. So look for a positive reinforcement-based training class in your area. And then maybe ask them a few questions. How many puppies are allowed? Okay, so I usually like to see about 6 to 8 maximum in a class per 1 to 2 teachers. And these should be a good mix of playing with other puppies, socialization to objects, and then some training. So you're going to learn some of those basic behaviors that you're looking at. But you don't need to focus too much, again, on the teaching those behaviors too much right away. It should be more socialization than anything else. Now, when you're in those training classes and the puppies are playing with each other, it's also really important that the trainer is managing that play really, really well, and that the play groups are split up appropriately. So if you have a group of dogs and you have a couple of really tiny little dogs and a couple of really, really big dogs, those dogs probably shouldn't be in the same play group together. This isn't to say that sometimes a tiny dog and a big dog can't be best friends, but usually you're going to want to split those dogs up so in their separate play groups, so that a tiny dog isn't getting crushed by a big, huge dog. Or if you have a couple of dogs that are really, really, really nervous and a couple of dogs that are really, really, really confident, you're going to want to split those dogs up into different play groups, because those dogs are not going to have a good time together, and they shouldn't just be forced to be in the same play group together and figure it out. So if you're in a group with a trainer who's not splitting the groups up appropriately and you feel that your puppy's not having a good time, be their advocate. It's okay to say something. It's okay to pull your puppy out and say, I don't think that this is working for me. I'd rather not have my puppy in this play group. You have to be your dog's advocate. So they should be split up appropriately, maybe 2 different groups with 3 or 4 dogs, and the play should be being monitored. So taking breaks, not letting too much rough play happen for too long. The trainer should be explaining things to you. Why is play happening? What's going on? Talking to you about body language, teaching you about body language, helping you learn when you should be splitting up play, what's appropriate, what's not appropriate, things of that nature. And that's a well-run puppy class, okay? And again, a mixture of play, a mixture of training, a mixture of socialization. And then you can look for puppy socials as well. So puppy social is usually just going to be playtime. And this is okay. Puppies need to learn how to play with each other. So maybe a half an hour, hour max, where there's playing and breaks and playing and breaks and playing and breaks. But again, always making sure that they're checking vaccinations, always making sure it's a clean, safe space, and always making sure that there's not too many puppies of different varied sizes and levels playing together. So that's what you're going to be looking for appropriate playtime. You can also be taking your puppies out to appropriate safe spaces. So no dog parks, please. I really, really, really don't like dog parks for puppies, especially before they're vaccinated, but I prefer to see dogs be about 6 months old before they start going to dog parks, because you want them to have a lot of really, really good experiences with puppies their own age and monitored playtime before you're sending them into an environment where they could possibly have a bad experience. And dog parks can be touch and go. Some dog parks are great. Some dog parks have really, really great environments. Some dog parks can be really, really wonderful experiences, but then some can be a little tricky and not so great. And if you send your really, really young dog into a dog park and they have a bad experience at a young age, that can be lasting, and that can be something that can cause a traumatic experience for them, and you don't want that to happen. So keeping them in places where they're going to have monitored play with a trainer who knows what they're doing and can help you navigate that world of play is going to be something that's more preferred than a dog park environment. Other places you can take your puppy that's usually pretty safe. A pet store, as long as they're not necessarily walking around on the ground, you're holding them, or maybe they're in a cart and they're going to get some treats and yummy things from some of the people up front, or a cafe where you can have them sitting on your lap or maybe on a mat for 10 or 15 minutes. It doesn't have to be hours and hours and hours every single day to have a big impact. It can be very short little bits of time where they're meeting a couple of people or meeting a friendly dog or two and getting a lot of yummy treats or playing to have a really big impact on their brain, okay? So slow exposure at a rate that they can handle, where you're always keeping an eye on how they're feeling. If you see your dog wiggling and being really happy and wanting to go up to a lot of people, let them go meet those people. But if you walk into a crowd and you see your dog's ears go back and their tail go down and they're refusing to walk, don't take them. You have to keep an eye on how your dog is feeling to ensure that you're enriching their lives and that socialization process is going well. Because even though as a young puppy, they're likely to be more active and wanting to affiliate with people, it doesn't mean that they can't have negative, scary experiences. Puppies can also go through fear stages where they can wake up one day and decide that they're afraid of things. All of a sudden, one day, they're just more afraid of something than they were the day before. And it happens hormonally, it happens because of age, it may be because maybe they're teething that day and they're not feeling so well, maybe they ate something off the ground the day before and now their tummy's upset. And if you push them a little bit too far that day and they have a bad experience, that's going to stick with them. Remember, all of their experiences are sticking with them. Our dogs learn through associations. So they're having emotional responses to everything that happens to them. So if they're feeling icky and then you go and have 15 of your closest friends over and it's loud and hectic and people are picking your puppy up and rustling them around and you're not watching because you have all this company over, that could really have a negative effect on how your dog feels about having people over to the house. Or if you take them to a party at your friend's house and you aren't paying attention to them and they're teething that day, and maybe your friend has a dog and that dog is a little overbearing and they have a negative experience, then maybe they're not going to feel so good about big dogs. So you really have to keep an eye on how your dog is feeling at every step along the way and making sure that they're having a good time. So brief, short interactions with the right types of things in the environment can go such a long way during the socialization period. And then once they hit that period of, 14, 16 weeks, if you've exposed them slowly to all of these little things in their environment, they're going to keep learning and growing and learning and growing for the next several years of their life. However, if you don't expose them to enough before this 14, 16-week period, it's going to be a lot harder to push things through that window, through their brains. So now, let's say you got an older puppy. Let's say you went to the rescue, went to the shelter, and decided to bring home a puppy that's about 5 months old. This is still a puppy, however, it's not a young puppy. So socialization is going to be a little bit different. This isn't to say that it can't be done. It's just going to be a little bit different, and you have to be a little bit more careful. So I could sit here and talk to you for another 20 minutes about how to do this, but I'm not going to, because it's going to be very, very dog dependent. So if you brought home a puppy that's over about 18 weeks, 5 months of age, I would highly recommend that you reach out to me, maybe consider joining my one-on-one community, or reaching out to a positive reinforcement-based trainer in your area about the right ways to socialize your puppy. They can do an assessment. I can do an assessment about the types of things, the types of behaviors that you're seeing in your puppy on a day-to-day basis, and we can make a plan on how to properly socialize your puppy to the world so that they can grow up and still be confident. Because just because they didn't get that amazing socialization opportunity when they were young doesn't mean that they can't grow up to be confident. You just have to do things a little bit differently. You have to take things a little bit slower. You can't just take them out into the world and hope that you're going to expose them to everything at that same really quick rate as you would when they were very young. Okay, so there is a really, really big difference between bringing home a 3-month-old puppy and bringing home a 5-month-old puppy. It's a big, big, big difference that a lot of people unfortunately don't understand. And that's when we start to see that fearful reactive behavior in these dogs that are 5, 6 months old. So if you have an older puppy, don't worry. They can still grow up to be super confident and amazing and wonderful. Just reach out to someone. Again, consider joining my one-on-one community, and I'd be happy to walk you through it, or reach out to a positive trainer in your area. But sooner rather than later, before you start to see the barking, lunging on leash, before you start to see them be hesitant around people, before you start to see them not want to go on walks and things like that. But maybe they're amazing already. Maybe you went out and got a 5-month-old puppy and they just have amazing genetics and they had a really good socialization period already and you just didn't know it. But a lot of times when we don't know that history, it's better to be safe than sorry and really try to get them some good experiences early on with you at home. So that is it for this brief talk on socialization. I could say so much more. And if you have questions about socialization, please reach out to me, comment, join my one-on-one community. This is something that I'm extremely passionate about, so I would love to talk to you more about it. But this is a general overview of socialization. Next week here in Puppy Month, we will be talking about bite inhibition, which is another very important part of having a puppy, teaching them how to use that mouth, teaching you how to survive their sharky little period. Believe me, it's normal. No matter how much your puppy's biting you, whether it's a little bit or you're bleeding every single day, I promise you it's normal. I'm going to talk to you about how to deal with that and what to do to teach them how to use their mouth appropriately. So join me here next week, and I hope you enjoyed this, and check out the post for some links on some ways to help socialize your puppy some more. Have a good weekend. Bye.